One of the best lessons that I've learned from Don Carson on the topic of preaching is that young preachers need to make sure that they listen to about 50 different preachers instead of listening to just one or two. So he says something to the effect of, if you listen to one preacher, well, then you end up becoming a clone. If you listen to just a few preachers, well, you end up becoming confused. But if you listen to about 50, you can learn from them, but still find a way to be yourself. Now, this advice was very helpful for me because early on, although my pastors were ministering in California, they were both from Oklahoma, and they had pretty oaky accents. But they were my only models early on in ministry. And when I first started preaching, I ended up sounding like I was from Oklahoma, and I had never ever even been to Oklahoma. Then I started to branch out a bit, and I found a well-known preacher named Alistair Begg. And I remember in those early years of preaching, someone came up to me after a sermon that I preached, and they asked me if I was Scottish. So my Okie accent turned into a Scottish accent. And then a couple years later, I found a minister. He has since gone to be with the Lord. I believe it was in 2011. But he was a preacher in the UK, in Cambridge, and his name was Mark Ashton. Phenomenal preacher, just amazing, just tremendous. Well, pretty soon I started preaching with a hint of a British accent, and I had never been to the UK. So I started recognizing that I had a problem. I was emulating all these guys, and I couldn't really find myself. So these days, I have about 30 or so different preachers that I listen to. And for the most part, I think at this point I'm cured. But the moment I realized that I had grown from being a clone of someone else was when I had preached at a conference. There was an acquaintance of mine that came up to me after the conference, and I and another guy had preached at it. And he said, "Hey, I just wanted to tell you that I really appreciated your sermon." And he said, "Now the guy before you that preached was very clearly a clone of John Piper. From his intensity to his hand movements, it was John Piper reincarnated." And then he said, "But when I heard you preach, you didn't really remind me of anyone. You just seemed like you." Now, please, I don't think I'm that good of a preacher. That's not the point of the story. The point is just to share with you the importance of learning from many, many, many different preachers. Because preaching, as someone else put it, is biblical truth mediated through personality. So I want to encourage you to let your personality shine through. Be you, be yourself. So that's what I wanted to share with you, something I learned from Don Carson. Now, I'd love to hear from you on what you guys have learned. So please take some time in the comments and talk about maybe what you learned. And I think that would be encouragement to anyone reading and also an encouragement for me. Well, thank you so much, and God bless you in the way.